Hello and welcome to the Super Rugby Aotearoa Round 3 preview brought to you here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Now we are at a new venue, as you can probably tell by the backdrop of all that wood. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if how the technology is working out here in the sticks, but we'll give it a go and we'll try and see how it is all going. So let me just check if I can hear you. If you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. So let's kick on then. And in the first game, we have the Blues versus the Highlanders. For the Blues, an unchanged starting 15, which basically means that we've got Alex Hodgman, James Parsons, and Ofa Tuangafasi across that front row. We then have in the engine room, Patrick Tuipulotu and Josh Goodhue, and that back row of Akira Iwani, Dalton Papali'i, and Hoskins Tutu. Now that back row, or that pack entirely, did a decent job at the weekend, last weekend on the in the wet. Now hopefully Shane can join us. Shane, you're on mute. You're gonna have to unmute yourself, mate. And also let me know if you can actually hear me.
There you go.
The halfback. Terry Black is going to be running things with TJ Fiani and Rico Iwani in the centres. Back three of Caleb Clark, Mark Talia, and Bowden Barrett rounds out starting 15. Can you hear me, Shane?
How are you, Paul?
Oh, good. Oh, you can hear me. I'm very good, thank you. Phew, after all the technology issues, we are live at the moment. That stability from the Blues, same starting 15 as they started off with last week. That's a very good sign, isn't it?
It is, and welcome to my house. I thought I'd introduce the scenery as well. This is my office, my room, as I like to call it. Yeah, look, how good's the Blues going? Two in a row in the new competition. Starting where they left off at Super Rugby, and lots of stability.
Yeah, and lots of stability. And also the weather last weekend was wet. The weather this weekend is looking like it's probably going to be wet in Auckland as well. So again, conditions-wise, they've had the right build-up to this as well, haven't they?
They have, and
we've lost him now. Sorry. Oh.
They have, and one thing, Paul, I've got to say about this derby, when it comes to the Blues and the Highlanders, no matter what the weather's going to be like, it's always a scrap. And I've always learnt one thing: the winner out of this game makes the least handling errors out of a high handling error sort of game. So whoever can take advantage of that will win this game. And you know, hopefully, you know, as a Blues supporter, you and I are both. Bodie and Terry and the backs can take full advantage of that.
Yeah, hopefully they can. Off the bench, then we've got the same. We've got a slight change on the bench. It's same up front: Kurt Eklund, Marcel Resner, and Sione Mafileo. Actually, no, I think that's maybe a change there. Cowley Tiotti and Tony Lambourne round out those forwards replacements. We have Finlay Christie, Harry Plummer, and Joe Marchant gets a go in the 23 jersey instead of Matt Duffy. Some players that are out long term: Carl Tuanakafi, Jack Hyton, Jared Payne, Stephen Perifetta, Blake Gibson, Tom Robinson, as well as Ray Newer, James Tucker, and also Tanilea Talia. Look, with Blake Gibson and Tom Robinson out, that means that Akira Iwani and Dalton Papali'i are going to get a 6 and 7 jersey, and we're going to need them. They really are going to need to stand up, aren't they?
They're going to have to stand up because, as I've mentioned before, the Blues and the Highlanders are scrappy affairs, and you want to make sure that those fringe forwards are going to be there at the breakdown, looking for every opportunity to turn over the ball, as well as a big boy like Iwani ready to truck it up when he's needed. So he's going to have a lot of work.
Now we're looking at another big crowd down at Eden Park, and if you are heading down there, folks, be aware that the West Line trains are not running. They've got replacement bus services in there. So, folks, if you are going to the game, please get down there early, and also take your waterproofs. It's looking like a wet one. Thank you, Aaron, for confirming. Yeah, Joe Marchant is the only update in there. Moving over to that Highlanders side, then Aidan Johnson, Ash Dixon, Sayeti Tokoloe in the front row, Parry Parkinson and Josh Dixon there in the engine room, Frizzell, Hunt and Makalei Tuhu. Now Makalei Tuhu had a really good game in that opening weekend. Other eights have had good games since then, but he'll be wanting to really show that he is someone that should perhaps get into All Blacks contention come the Bledisloe Cup tests later in the year.
What better way to do it in derby games? I've always said that when it comes to our derby games, which start next week, if you want a Wallabies jumper, you might as well start off with performing in key critical derbies like this one. So put your hand up. Ian Foster, I'm sure Fozzie's watching. I'm sure his coaching staff are watching these fellas go round. And the more competition, the better, I say, for international jumpers.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of concern there with Josh Dixon in that number 5 jersey. Is he really is he really kind of lock, or is he? I just don't have the same faith in that engine room that I do have in the Blues engine room. I think that's going to be an issue for them. Where there's not going to be issues at number 9 with Aaron Smith, obviously running things along with Mitch Hunt at 10. An impressive midfield with Tompkinson and Thompson. They're a good combo. And then a back 3 of Jonah Nariki, Sam Gilbert, and then Scott Gregory in that 15 jersey. That's an interesting one for me. Scott Gregory getting picked back there. I thought Mackay might get given a go, but he seems to have been looked over, doesn't he?
Yeah, but with a tournament like this, there's always the opportunity to mix and match, and depending on perhaps the weather or depending on the playing style, which is the Highlanders are proposing for this game, it's always good to see different mixtures, and let's see how the young fella goes.
Yeah, I have to see. And then off the bench, we've got Liam Coltman. Clearly, that's a good replacement. Daniel Leonard-Brown, Jeff Thwaite. So good front row replacements there. Manakai Selby Rickett and Tariki Ben Nicholas. So, yeah, look, overall, decent replacements off the bench for the forwards. Kane Hamilton, Bryn Gatland, and Nane Punivave in the backs replacements. Bryn Gatland, I mean, look, came on and shot that winning drop goal. So you got to say he is, he's in some decent form as well, isn't he? Well,
it was an absolute beauty to win that game down in Dunedin a couple of weeks ago. Love Dunedin, I miss it from my time there. And I'm sure the crowd and the uni students went absolutely wild seeing the Highlanders get over the line with Gatland's drop goal. But here's a chance. Here's a chance for the young bloke. He missed out on the Blues. I don't think he was quite reaching the standard. I don't know if you agree or not, but here's a chance off the bench to start with, and who knows, if he can keep developing, keep getting the winning points, and keep proving himself, you hope there's still a chance of a decent career for him.
Yeah, that's right. He's only there because Josh Ioane has got a leg injury at the moment. They've also missing Nathan Velia, Milner Scudder, and they also had those season-ending injuries to Misielu, Umanga Jensen, Lenchis, Nabrura, and Garden Bashop as well. And the player that I really want to see have a good game is Jonah Nariki. Looked absolutely devastating in the Minor 10 Cup last year. Went away with the sevens. Obviously, with the Olympics not happening, come back into this Highlanders side. Perhaps Saturday in wet conditions, not ideal for him, being one of those small, nippy kind of backs. But he's an excitement machine, folks. Keep your eye out for him there, especially. So what's your call on this one then, Shane?
Lose by 1.
Lose by
1 in the wet.
Wow.
It'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. It's my favourite derby, actually.
The favourite derby? Well, okay, interesting. Furthest north versus furthest south. But for me, this is going to be a comfortable Blues win. I think I've gone for them by 7. Sorry, folks. Internet issues means I've not managed to get up the right page. Would remind me. But you can check out my predictions every week. They go live early in the week on drivingmaul.com. So yes, I'm back in the Blues. I think by about 7. I think I'm going to be a score clear. Over in the second game, and the Crusaders again name a solid, a steady front 15. Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, and Mike Alatoa are the front row. There's Sam Whitelock and Mitch Dunshea in the engine room. Grace Harmond and Fetu Douglas are the loosies. Bryn Hall, Richie Mwanga running things with good Hugh and Enor in the centres. There were some question marks over Enor about whether he was injured or not, but it looks like he's shaken that off. And then Bridge, Reese, and Will Jordan in the back 3. So the same 15 that started and scored within a minute against the Hurricanes. It's another week where we're looking at them and going, geez, where's the weakness? Because it doesn't seem to be one, does it really?
No, I think the Hurricanes, to their credit, for 60 minutes, put up a good fight against them. But it's this depth that the Crusaders always have in their starting squad, and then you just have to go to their bench to see more depth coming out. It's always been the case. You hide under the blanket when you see the Crusaders and their depth, because they'll never give up, they'll never give in, and they're a team that is a very professional rugby outfit under Scott Robertson.
Yeah, absolutely. And that bench, McAllister, Boa and Jaeger are your front row replacements. Luke Romano in the lock. Ethan Blackadder rounds out those forward replacements. Mitch Drummond, David Havili, and Lester Fayena-Kuku in there as well. So yeah, as you say, strength in depth in that bench. Perhaps not the most experienced in that front row, but still, all the other positions have got experience in there, and that's again. Some reports I'm hearing say that the showers will have ceased by game day for this one. Other ones say that Sunday's going to be a wet day down there in Christchurch. So decent crowd, but I think they could have sold a few more tickets. In all honesty, so hopefully there's a good walk-up crowd on Sunday for that one. But it's going to be that front 5 that are going to lay the foundations for this, and that's going to give those halfbacks for the Crusaders pretty much an armchair ride, isn't it, in this game?
Yeah, and it's always important with rugby, particularly rugby in New Zealand or even in Australia. If you get a good platform from your front 5, as well as your 8 and your fringe forwards winning breakdowns, you really give your backs opportunities in the game to create, your 9 and 10 to create opportunities to get into scoring opportunities. So if you're the Chiefs, I'd be very worried. That's a very good side.
It is. Let's look at the Chiefs side. A few changes for them. Aidan Ross and Bradley Slater and Nipola Ulala in the front row there. Samisoni Tuekeleo has dropped to the bench. Maybe issues with the line-out throwing being part of the course for that. Mitchell Brown coming back. That is going to be massively important for them, getting one of their more experienced locks in there, along with Arcoy, who has looked good in the first couple of weeks. Boshier, Kane, and Swakula are the loosies. So great to see Sam Kane back and Boshier. They need Boshier back because obviously Luke Jacobson is out injured now for the rest of the season. Brad Webber and Aaron Cruden are going to control things, whilst Antoinette Brown and Quinta Paya in the centre wide shortly, Solomon Alamalo and Damien McKenzie. So Sean Stevenson drops entirely out of the match day 23. So as I said, Samisoni Tokaleo in there, Ruben O'Neill and Ross Glenda Heiss are the other front row replacements. Adam Thompson is the lock replacement again, showing that lack of depth in locks really. Mitch Karpik there for the Lucies, good replacement there. Lisa T. Milo Harris again gets the nod ahead of Triple T in the 21 jersey. Caleb Trask, and then Tamua Manu, who I think was running around in the Auckland club competition last weekend to get some game time, gets that 23 jersey. I say Sean Stevenson has dropped entirely out. Angus Ta'avo, Tyler Ardron are both out. The season-ending injuries to Atu Molly, McWhelan, Luke Jacobson, Michael Allardyce, Nathan Harris, Sam Nicol. It's not that injury list is really tough on the Chiefs, isn't it?
It's testing their depth. The good thing is that Adam Thompson, who's a very experienced player, he's a 30 cap All Black as well. That might be vital off the bench. But as you mentioned, the locks depth there. Obviously, Brodie's not there this time round, which would have really helped. That back line's not bad for the Chiefs. It's just got to fire up, particularly D-Mac. He's got to be a little bit better this week. I thought he wasn't quite there at times last week. Cruden and Weber have really got to control things. Lynette Brown has got to obviously do a lot of charging up with the ball, and the forwards have to match the Crusaders, particularly at 1 to 5. Otherwise, you'll find that the Crusaders they'll do what they do to any other side. They'll run over them. So,
yeah, and that's been the problem here, isn't it? Is that, look, there is a decent set of backs there for the Chiefs. When they've got it wide, they've looked dangerous. The problem is they're just not getting that platform off that front five and trying to play fast-flowing rugby. Look, we're playing this in wet conditions in June, folks. This is not February, March conditions like we've seen, which is nice and dry and hard grounds. These are, the surfaces are still decent surfaces, but they're not hard, and the ball is slippery. And some of the plays we've seen from some of the teams in New Zealand have been, particularly the Hurricanes last weekend, have been a little bit crazy considering the conditions they're playing under. And perhaps a bit more smart around the rugby is what we need to see from these sides, rather than trying some of the crazy offloads 5 meters out from your own line. Yeah, I don't think the conditions last weekend suited Dane McKenzie's play. And the real problem, I think, is in that engine room for the Chiefs. And up against someone like Sam Whitelock and Dunshea, I can't see them getting much change there at all. I think this is going to be a long old game for the Chiefs. I've gone Crusaders by 15. What's your call on this one?
I've gone the Crusaders by 7. I think if the Chiefs turn up and have a crack, and we could be in for some entertainment, but I think the Crusaders will be too good. Yeah,
I think it's too good. I think the Chiefs need it to be dry. If it's wet, I think they're going to really struggle, because its front five just isn't going to give them the platform in those kind of conditions. So yes, that's it, folks. Those are our that's how we see it. Both going for a Blues and Crusaders wins this weekend. I think that everybody is going for. Everyone expecting the first game to be slightly tighter than the second one, but the Blues and the Crusaders have been the two form teams in this competition and are looking good to be there come the pointy end of this. It's only 10 weeks long, and so yes, rotating some of those players is going to be important, but which is something that we haven't really seen yet from these teams. We're probably going to see that about weeks 5, 6. That's going to probably start to happen as some of these players start to feel a bit weary from playing derby matches back to back. So really looking forward to this weekend, Shane. I'll be back Sunday evening at 8 p.m. with the Super Rugby Round 3 review. So do join us for that here on New Zealand Sports Radio. You can also listen to us on the move. Search for New Zealand Sports Radio on your favourite podcatcher, be that iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Acast, or any other really, for that matter. Thank you, Shane, for your time. And sorry, everyone, if you've experienced some technical difficulties tonight. We are yes, in some new locations.